Hey, what is up, guys? It is Michael. I'm back with another Tesla video. And a little bit ago, I was taking a look at Twitter, decided to take a look at the Tesla website. It just so happens I had been looking at the website at just the right time. One of the things I noticed while I was looking at the website is that the Tesla Model 3 currently, at the moment, doesn't have the standard range. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I sent out a couple of tweets to some Tesla fans that I know on the Twitter website. And as I was going through it, I figured, well, I'm kind of interested in purchasing one myself. I figured I'll go through the configurator for the millionth time. Chose my options. I get to the end. Wait a minute. What is this? Autopilot included? Okay, that doesn't make sense. So maybe I was missing something. So I decided to go and click next. And look at this. Tesla Model 3, the standard range plus, is now available for a lease. What are the odds that I would be on the website just as they had actually updated it? So let's take a look and see how much a lease is going to cost you in comparison to actually purchasing the vehicle outright. So if you do cash, if you got cash, good for you. That's awesome. For the rest of us chumps out there who need to borrow some money, or in this case, we don't even got that, we're going to do a lease. Let's take a look and see some of the numbers. So let's take a look at this number here. We're going to leave out the savings that Tesla does. We want to see some real numbers here. Currently, this says that if you put $0 down, let's change this configurator. Let's do a loan. Yep. We're going to do $0 down because ain't nobody got time for that. Term 72 months, APR of 4.25%, amount finance 42.7. It's going to get you 673. Again, this doesn't include your local taxes, okay? Don't forget about that. Now let's do a lease. 0 down, 10,000 miles, 36 months. This is how much is due at finance, due at signing. And don't forget, on a lease, you also do have this $2,500 down payment, $630. All right, let's take a look at some of the. It looks like they just got a bunch of the savings in there. What'll be interesting is calculating what the residual value of that lease is going to be. So let's do some quick math. I didn't plan ahead of time for this, so. If my math is off, well, that's my fault. So we're going to close this. What is the actual cost of the vehicle? So let's scroll down here. So the purchase cost of the vehicle. Now, let me remind you that previously, okay, take a look at this. Before we get started on the math, Tesla sent out this update to a vehicle lineup, okay? Now this is where they just announced, like literally a few minutes after I had been browsing the website, that they're making a change up to their vehicle lineup, okay? Now this says all Tesla vehicles will come with autopilot bundled as a standard feature for less than the prior cost of the option. So for example, the Model 3 Standard Plus used to cost $37,500 plus $3,000 for the autopilot option. It now costs $39,500 with autopilot included. Okay. And the whole spin on this is they're thinking because autopilot is proven to be a safe feature, that they're going to enable it for all of their vehicles as standard. All right. And then it also talks about how leasing is now available. As you can see on the previous screens that I showed you guys, leasing is not yet available on the standard Model 3. It's now gone from the website. All right. So let's take a look at this. What are the options? Last quarter, we introduced 2 new Model 3 variants with more competitive pricing than ever before. All right. That's the Standard and the Standard Plus. Standard Plus is sold at more than 6 times the rate of Standard, far exceeding our expectations. All right. Here comes the spin. Given the popularity of the Standard Plus relative to the Standard, we have made the decision to simplify our production operations to better optimize control minimize complexity and streamline operations. All right, they did the exact same thing with the Model S. Remember, it came out that 40 kilowatt battery pack. They killed that thing. It wasn't even around for that long. All right, they did the exact same thing. They're doing it here with the Model 3. So check this out. As a result, the Tesla Model 3 Standard will now be a software limited version of the Standard Plus. And we are taking it off the online ordering menu, which just means that to get it, customers will need to call us, or you can visit the store. Deliveries of Model 3 Standard will begin this weekend. Its range will be limited by 10% and several features will be disabled via software, including our onboard music streaming service navigation with live traffic visualizations and heated seats, similar to other software-limited vehicles produced in the past. That is interesting. Now, if you pay attention to Tesla or Twitter or any of the Tesla forums, this is something that people had predicted Tesla was going to do. There haven't been any standard Model 3's deliveries yet. There have been the Standard Range Plus. And people predicted, and they thought that, Tesla is going to kind of backtrack on this, and that they were actually just going to do a software limited version of the Standard Range Plus. All right. Now, of course, if you're just an average person who've already, you put your money down for that standard vehicle, it sounds like they're going to be delivering those. However, one benefit to this is that if you get the Standard Plus, more than likely Tesla will give you the option to upgrade at a later date. Now, for them, that means more money, which means increased margin. So that's a good business sense. However, this is another case where Tesla kind of backtracks on what they said that they were going to be able to produce. All right. So let's take another look. Let's see what else we got here. What other goodies? So yep, just like I was saying, standard customers will have the option to upgrade to Standard Plus at any time. Anyone who's already bought Standard Plus and want to convert to Standard is always welcome to do so, and we will provide a refund for the difference in cost. That's good. So if you want to get the Standard version, all right, $35,000. That's just the black color, no other fancy bells and whistles. That's $35K. You got to call in and order that off the menu. All right. Now let's take a look at the lease, right? Now typically the way a lease works is you are going to pay for the depreciated value of the vehicle. Okay. So if the total cost of this vehicle is $41,000, right, which autopilot is included. Let's take a look at one other thing. I know you probably want to see me do some fancy math here, but let's take a look at autopilot, right? What does autopilot include? It enables your car to steer, accelerate, and brake automatically for other vehicles and pedestrians within its lane. All right, full self-drive capability. Navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, autopilot, and summit. Later this year, it can recognize and respond to stoplights and automatic driving on city streets. Okay, that's $5,000. All right, so autopilot seems like it's just what is it called? Adaptive cruise control. Okay, this seems like it is now basically just adaptive cruise control. Now let's go back to, let's try and do some fancy math here. All right. All right, guys. So one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to adjust how I was actually doing the lease calculation. So I wanted to give you guys a much better idea of adding in zip code, and then there's another thing that also gets included as well when it comes to leases, and that is the money factor. Oftentimes people don't talk about the money factor, but again, it is going to add some additional cost to your lease. So if you've never leased a vehicle before, make sure you pay attention to something called the money factor. And it's actually based off the interest rate, the APR, for the lease of your loan. All right. So what I did was I entered in my zip code here. I'm from Chicago. I put in the base price of that Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. I left out the tax title and license, and then any of the rebates that you're going to get. And I also left out the trade-in because I don't have a trade-in for myself. Again, the lease terms are going to be 36 months. And then what I did was I actually left the lease residual value of $23,000. I left the money factor default here. And then for the miles driven per year, I left it at 10,000. When you calculate that, that gets us pretty close to what Tesla's numbers are here. We're going to go back to it. Tesla is estimating this is going to cost you roughly $591. So let's take a look and see what is the actual residual value, or I should say, what is it that Tesla's actually charging us. So if you do let's do 39,000. If you do 39,500 here, minus 23,000. So Tesla is actually saying that the car is going to depreciate $16,500. So that's actually not bad. If you think about the actual cost, that means that the residual value of the vehicle is going to be roughly 55%. For luxurious vehicles, well, some people say Teslas aren't luxury cars, but their price certainly says that they're luxury cars. For a car in that price value, holding its value at 55% is really, really good. You're talking something like Lexus category. Also, you're looking at Honda Civic, Toyota Camrys. They hold their values quite well, which is why if you look at leasing one, you can generally get really low monthly payments. And again, that's because in a lease, you're paying for the depreciated value of the vehicle. In this case, because Tesla's saying that the value is only going to depreciate by 45%, that means that the vehicle is going to hold its value pretty well. So if you're looking at leasing or buying, I think you're going to get a good deal either way. If you're leasing, obviously, especially if you're a business and you can write that off, that's actually a really great tax write-off. Not only is the car payment going to be relatively low in comparison to a vehicle in that same category, but then on top of that, for a business, you also have to look at the operating expenses. If you drive a lot and you're putting in, let's say, more than $100 in gas per week, that's $400 a month. That's pretty nice. That's money that's you're not paying out of pocket. What are you going to pay for electricity? Maybe your electric bill might go up $40. In my opinion, it definitely makes sense, at least if you got a business and you can write that off. Purchasing a vehicle in general is not a good business decision. It's not a good financial decision because they are depreciating assets. But if you're somebody like me who you like having a car, the monthly payment is well worth it. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this video informative. Again, if you're looking for this lease calculator, it is on Edmunds.com. Again, you can get a better sense of what your lease payments might be. This way you can actually enter in things like your local tax title, license, stuff like that. So you can get a much better overall idea of what your payments are going to be. Anyway, guys, if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. And I hope you guys enjoy and have a great weekend. See ya.